Tried to do this video log outside, had absolutely no success. Very irritating. It's because I'm limited in terms of my knowledge, and unfortunately I do not suffer from Dunning-Kruger when it comes to my ability to record things. So I went outside with a whole bunch of equipment, specifically my iPad. And hello, can you shut this door, please? My daughter's microphone, which is a hypercardioid. Really, this is designed for indoor vlogging, but I'm like, yeah, but it's set up. So I took it outside, and to get the signal to noise ratio good enough, ended up bringing it in close with quite high gain, and it just ended up distorting when I was loud. Very irritating, and the reason for that is because I didn't monitor it with headphones, because here I'm so familiar with the setup that like now I can just turn it on, press record, and know that it will work and everything will be at the right gain, even like now when I'm whispering. I want to wake up Clover. I have to shut this door myself because my daughter's completely ignored me. I've asked her to shut the door, she hasn't. She has been gracious enough to get out at least. Oh, I need to turn the gate down, that mumbling probably didn't make it through. Let's just turn the gate off, I don't need to be gated. Nobody's part of the discussion, right? I haven't got a panel here, so I can whisper. Well, I'm going to go and shut that door. Whether or not this is edited, I don't know. Should I get a drink to go along with this? It might be a long ramble. I mean, this is like what I'm setting up in the pre-show while I've got people to kind of fill the void of me doing exactly like this. Right, let's get a drink. Good. Already one made. Jolly good. Okay. It's probably well end up being an edited video as I'm 2 minutes into it and I haven't said a single thing. Glad there's one in a bottle ready to go. It is ugly, so I'll put it down here. Okay. So, aside from me doing this video log once outside, I've got a fully prepared studio with a shotgun mic that can isolate me from all the beautiful sounds that are going on outside. Nevertheless, cool enough that it is to make this video log today. Where do I begin? Eric Dubay has made an e-begging video, and my initial instinct is to take advantage of that fact because, fortunately for me, I've got ahead of the game and mitigated for this dip that I think Eric Dubay is feeling the pinch of on YouTube. So after TFE, there's been a significant lull statistically. I keep very, very close eye on my statistics, and there's been a lull that I noticed occurring, and as it was occurring at the beginning, I started to mitigate for it by foregoing a purchase. So I don't know how many months ago it was now, but some months ago I got a chunk of money. I'm like, I want to invest this back into the show, so I want to invest it back into Flat Earth Debate. And like I say, when you see something that's started to tail off a little bit, you're like, that's a bit of a concern. So instead of buying a Sawyer's mic that I'd intended to purchase, which was about 600 quid, I just took that 600 quid and started buying microphones with it, thinking I can see trouble ahead. I think I better mitigate for this just in case. And the more time elapsed, the more it looked like I'd have to mitigate. And as a byproduct, the fortunate circumstances befallen me that by picking microphones, I've ended up making videos about microphones to put on the ads for the microphones, and that has actually had a little bit of an impact on my videography staying pretty consistent. I mean, it has definitely dipped. I don't want to lie and pretend like it's not when it hasn't been increasing, which up until this point it has. You know, I've been very proud of the fact that I've managed to maintain and grow a YouTube channel. But regardless, you're going to take dips occasionally. This is one of them, and I'm like, fine. As it's so close to the edge of me being below the poverty line and not paying for everything that I need to pay, it's like I need to keep a very close eye on it, and I do. Hence the microphones. But like I say, I'm very proud that I'm at the position where you can probably see around me. Can I show these a bit clearer? So there's all sorts of microphones, down there. There's microphones, and there's microphones on the wall behind me, and there's microphones in my bedroom, all in pencil cases that I bought from China that are nice and soft for the ones that don't have boxes. So I've got a lot of microphones that are knocking around because I've spent 3 months not watching my bank balance. I'm glad I didn't, because I probably wouldn't have bought the most recent one on Wednesday. Nevertheless, Craig will be modifying that shortly, as I made him aware. But, just before running out of money, because I've hit that point where the machine doesn't give you any money. It goes, no, you haven't got any. And then you look at your phone and go, oh no, I've had a text from the Barclays saying that you've run out of money. And you're like, right, I kind of knew that was going to be the case. It's right on cue. I've kept a close eye on where I'm at in terms of the money coming in from the microphones, and not really my own bank balance, but I kind of knew roughly when I'd run out of money, and it's right about now, and I have, so not a shock. But the point of all this is that Eric's made his e-begging video before I've had to, right? Now, ordinarily, I'd go, great. It's easier for me to lean into an e-begging video going, oh no, I've hit my overdraft. It's like, well, actually, this is not an e-begging video, right? Just get that clear at this stage. I'm glad, because it hasn't been hinted at being from the start. So I'm going to get that out of the way now. I'm not asking for anything in this video, right? I might in the future, if things go from bad to worse, but they probably won't, because I've mitigated for them with microphones. So therefore, tomorrow, one of these will sell and keep things going temporarily and keep me ticking over while we just finish off the book. So I'm giving positive speeches, if you will, in some of the Skype chats now, Teams, saying, look, we're about to witness a storm with this book. And from memory, Eric Dubay, who's reaching out and e-begging and saying I could just do with some help, has made many of his books available for free. So you're like, okay, so he's getting his books translated, making them for free, and he's reaching out saying, I get all of my financial support from memberships and patronage. So you're like, okay, rather than just seeing this as something I can take advantage of because he jumped first in e-begging terms after the storm, which is caused by TFE, there's an impression that needs to be created in terms of the, quote, exodus. And if you don't censor harder, you can't make that false impression. So we're suffering the financial detrimental effects of that. And great, Eric's jumped first. But instead of taking advantage of my own benefit because I'm poor too, why not actually listen to what Eric Dubay is saying, which is, I need help, right? He's struggling. Now, I know, and I'm telling my audience, I'm going to be doing better shortly, and I need to temporarily mitigate for the financial storm that we're currently having to weather, because there's a storm coming our opponent's way in the form of the book that's going to be finished off very shortly. Now, in saying that, there's a confidence that I have that leads me to think very differently about my reaction to Eric Dubay. So I will get there in the end, but there's one more preamble to this, which is to say that in the past there's been help and assistance, and it might have been, but it doesn't mean financial in this regard. Often help and assistance doesn't come in the form of people just handing over cash to you. Quite often, more often than not, it isn't that at all. But in one particular instance of a lot of help that I've had, it's come from the Christians in the now being claimed to be disbanded Flat Earth community. The Exodus, yeah, claw hands. Anyway, that community has helped me where it would have been not unreasonable to walk away from me and what I was doing at the time. And they haven't. Instead, they've assisted me, lent into the help that they've given me, tried to give me better guidance and grow me. And I've watched it slow and steady grow up until literally now. But the point is that assistance from the Christian community has been very welcomed. I'm still trying to heed their words of wisdom in terms of not swearing on the shows. It's a struggle, but hopefully I've done a bit better. I've turned off a couple less Christians from the show, but I'm actually genuinely trying to the point where I'll mention it and hopefully eventually, with enough time, live by it. But anyway, that aside, the assistance that I've had from Christians is echoed in terms of the detrimental feelings expressed towards Eric Dubay by a similar group. I'm going to say the exact same group. Some of them might cross over. But people are detrimental towards Eric. Now, for me, I don't pay enough attention to Eric. I did maybe 10 years ago when everyone was calling everyone else shills. But now it's like I don't pay close enough attention to Eric Dubay to have negative feelings about his anti-Christian, if it is that, rhetoric that he puts across. I just know that there's a fellow flatty reaching out for help. And given that I might be considered I don't know, heathen or whatever the right term would be by Christians who've helped me, maybe this is the time to heed Eric Dubay's cry for help. And that's what it is. I've cried for help plenty of times. I've put my cap in front of me and I've owned it and worn my heart on my sleeve when I've e-begged. And in this instance, when I'm quite literally at my financial minimum, I've gone, I know there's better times ahead for me. Therefore, I'm going to bank on me and support Eric Dubay. Why not? And I'm putting it out on this video, so that people understand from, I don't want to necessarily call it a community, because these people who have been helping me when I call them Christians aren't necessarily within that community, if you want to call it that. Not Flat Earth, just the community I've built on my channel for FED and that community. These are people who are external to that might also be the same people. That's why I bundle them in a group that might not be Christian, criticising me for supporting Eric Dubay. It's like, well, no, if people have been helpful when potentially onlookers to them helping could have seen their help to me as negative, as good Christians, why wouldn't it be the case that I don't try and create a bridge with Eric Dubay when he's saying, look, if I just doubled my patronage, I'd actually not struggle. And I've done a lot for Flat Earth. I've put out a lot of free books, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that he's put through. You can go and see Eric Dubay's Help Me video if you want to reference what I'm talking about in this regard. You might see mine if a microphone or two doesn't sell. You know what I mean? So anyway, for that reason, I've joined Eric Dubay's patronage. Now, it's not like I'm giving him a huge amount of money. I'm at his absolute minimum tier. But I'm doing it at a point where I don't actually have any money to give. I was doing it going, well, this actually goes through. I did it, and it's like, it's going to use PayPal. That's linked directly to my bank. Will this work? Did it, and it did. It went through. I'm like, aha! It's worked. So, great. It's put it through. So, I'm an Eric Dubay patron. And hopefully it means I've got at least some degree of communication lines with Eric Dubay. I'm not saying I'm joined his patronage so I can get that. I have no intentions beyond saying, okay, if you want help and you're suggesting you'll get it through patronage, in spite of me being at my absolute minimum financially, I know I'm going to do better, and I'm going to bank on me being able to cover that patronage every month. I'm determined, right? It's not going to lapse. It's not going to falter. It's going to be there, and my bank is going to be able to cover my Eric Dubay patronage. I don't know what it offers. I didn't even look. But it's more a kind of, I want to help someone that's reached out rather than go, great, he's jumped first, I can e-beg and justify it because clearly Eric's doing better than me, right? So I obviously need the money, help me, right? Like he's done. Instead, go, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give Eric Dubay a bit of patronage. Maybe that someone in the audience will see that as me paying it forward. I don't know. It's not for that purpose. It's more that I'm going to go, no, I'm confident enough in me that I can actually assist Eric, even when I'm at my minimum, at what I considered to be the worst position I could have been when I saw it coming on the horizon 3 or 4 months ago. Now, that isn't the case. I've got all these microphones to sell, right? I'm definitely going to keep my bank balance up for at least a month or two while the 70-odd mic sell that I've got. So that's a month or two covered, and hopefully by then, if I haven't been a complete dick to all the people helping me write the book, that'll be out, and I'll start to generate some finances with that. And, you know, I want this to be the low point. Now, it's not. I'm at the top of a hill that I'm describing to people in teams that we've just got over in terms of writing the book and its promotion and the positivity that will come with that moving forward. So, yes, going over a hill means there's a little bit of a lull, metaphorically speaking. But let's just ignore that metaphor and say, no, you know, there's a plateau that follows. You know what I mean? Because ultimately speaking, the help and assistance I've received from everybody in my community has been absolutely overwhelming. And at some point, I want to demonstrate that there are other people in our community that, for one thing, got it right in terms of a lot of the shill calling that was done initially. You're like, once all the noise dies down and you find out who are the shills, you're like, it is kind of noteworthy that Eric did actually get a lot of them right. You know what I mean? And I don't remember him ever calling me a shill. I mean, he might have done, but I don't remember it. I think it had stuck in my mind, and I don't recall him ever doing it. So I think I called him a shill more than he called me a shill, let's be honest. So there we go. It's an interesting one. But the main point of this video is to point out that, yeah, Eric's asked for help, and I've given it him at the absolute minimum level that I can offer it on his Patreon page. But I've done it, in spite of me being at my financial minimum that I've ever been in this gig, if you want to call doing flat Earth videos exactly that. So that's the crescendo. I'm not going to necessarily put an Eric Dubay Patreon link below this video. It'll be mine, because I do want to grow my Patreon. But I'm not going to even shout out all that stuff. That's kind of how he started, and I'm not going to end my video by saying everyone starts by saying like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things I do in a quick summary in the intro to FED. Eric's kind of saying, well, I don't tend to do that, but in this case I am going to do that. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe, and join my Patreon. And there's a link below to it. That's how I survive, and it's tough times. You're like, yeah, well, I actually don't need to, in this video, there might be one coming up, put my cap out and go, no, I really do need your help. It's like, no. Although I'm telling you that I've hit my minimum, I know I might sell tomorrow. I'm not going to lie and pretend that I'm desperate for money. I'm not. I know that I've got stuff to sell. I've made sure I'm okay in this period. But I'm going to be either appealing you to help me if the book takes a bit longer than genuinely expected. I do actually think it's going to finish soon. We're on chapter 11 of 14. Is there another chapter to be done? That side, I won't ponder that while we're in the middle of making a video. But there's good stuff on the horizon, financially and from the benefit to the benefit of the end user or reader of the book in this instance. So there's lots of stuff that's coming up that's fantastical and awesome and amazing that I can't wait to promote, rather than saying, oh, please help me. But yeah, so if Eric Dubay does need help, great. I'm glad that, even though strictly speaking, I haven't actually got the finances to offer him it right this second, but I'm banking on me doing a lot better coming up, and my ranting and raving about how fantastic the book is my confidence in myself in terms of how well, Nathan Oakley specifically will be doing, or the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel moving forward as I start editing videos, having, reached a zero point where I literally can't buy any microphones to sell. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of this. Wow, 17 minutes. That's a long old video, a lot longer than I was expecting. My kids are probably quite irritated with the fact that I've tied up this lounge for as long as I have this morning, so I'll be thanking them once I'm done with this video. But that's pretty much it. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.